Hello YouTube, theBLOB here, and this is a epic Warhammer 40k, epic Armageddon, net epic, and everything else you can still call this game, including Titan Legion's battle report. That's right, we play this game. If you know this game exists, we play this game. If you've never heard of this game, you're about to find out. This is Warhammer 40k in the 6mm 1/285th scale that I believe it was originally born in. Back when they just had Titans, if you go far enough back, there was a game called Space Marine, and I think before that was Titan Legion. But you're getting back to when I was like 7, 8, 9. So don't hold me to memorizing that. But anyway, this Batrep is Zcost, one of the two gamers. Zcost 83, one of the two gamers we got here, and he's playing Harvey from out of town, who gave us a little bit of rant on GW from up north. I don't know how many points these guys played for. I was just there for the event, so I photographed it and tried to watch what they were doing. But basically, you've got Space Marines and Titan Legions squaring off against the Tyranids. Harvey from out of town playing as the Tyranids. He's usually a Tau guy, but that's why he was playing with the Tyranids this time. Zcost going with Space Marines with the Titan Legion kicker. He's fielding 2 Scout Titans and a Reaver Titan. Warhounds is what they're called. Harvey's got some Exocrines, a Hive Tyrant. What's he got in the back? A Dominatrix. Um, Lots of Tyranid Warriors, lots of Gene Stealers, lots and lots of Hormagaunts, I want to call them. I'm not really a 40k guy, people, so I'm going by the names that Epic used to call them. You're gonna have to bear with me on that. The river you see in the middle of the board is just difficult terrain. That's all. So they got like a 3-inch deployment zone off the edge of the board. That way they're nice and crammed in there. You can see Tyranid deployment. Giant Titan at the bottom of the photograph off screen. Right in front is the Exocrines, the Hive Tyrant, some flesh meat shields in the form of Hormagaunts, I think is what they are. Up on the mount there is just a crazy mix of Raveners, Hormagaunts, Tyranid Warriors, and it just drifts lazily down to the end of the board where the tape measure is, where in the distance you can see big old Dominatrix kind of looming there with all the bugs at her feet. Zcost deployment, he's got jump pack Marines all the way at the top edge of the board there. You can see some of them, their jetpacks are taken off. You can see the smoke there. Uh, 2 Scout Titans, the Reaver sort of sitting there. And then he's got all these Land Raiders, and these Land Raiders are carrying a section of Tactical Marines, and then a section of Devastators. I can't remember if it's 6 each or 4 and 6 or whatever, but you'll see. Space Marines get the chance to go first, and Zcost sort of pushes Land Raiders out like this, and you can see that all the Marines jump out. They're basically directly across from the Exocrine Hive Tyrant unit and across from this giant Tyranid Titan called a Hierodule, which there was a shot of early, but it was fuzzy. I might get you a better shot later. I can't tell yet. And when Zcost jumps out, he's got his TAC Marines to the top 3 Land Raiders, and these bottom Land Raiders, these are all Devastator units here. I think there's a Space Marine Supreme Commander in there somewhere. And then way up front there, up on the mount, like third Land Raider in from the top, there's a Apothecary / Medic. He lights up the Exocrine unit, basically, with his advance order. He gets to move and he gets to shoot once with the advance order. And basically wipes out the whole unit except for this lone Exocrine. Pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. More impressive, second round of shots from the Devastators. 4 hits on that last Exocrine, and Harvey from out of town had to make I think it saves on a 5-up. 6 sixes. Very nice, Harvey. There's Z cost. A little bit miffed by that. Yeah, miffed. He retains initiative. You can actually retain initiative if you want as a penalty to movement. I'll talk about the sort of the physics and the movement stuff of Epic Warhammer 40K, Epic Armageddon, or Net Epic, whatever you want to call it. I'll talk about that some other day. But anyway, Z-Cost retains initiative, moves another unit. It's the Jetpackers, the Assault Marines, and they actually triple move. It's called the March Move. They March Move all the way from the very top of the board to block the area between the Hierodule Tyranid Titan and the Mega Space Marine Land Raider unit. Very, very sharp move here, actually. The Hierodule chose not to go into the assault. Harvey instead, he kind of had this thing kitted out for guns. And not being a Tyranid player, he hadn't figured out on turn 1, as he does later, that even if you're loaded for guns as a Tyranid, you're still a Tyranid. And you should get down there and you should claw something and spear something to death. Z-Cost gets to move again. He just sort of pushes his Titan Legion forward like this. Very bold with that one Scout Titan. But you can see he's going to try and screen the rest of the Tyranid force, including the Dominatrix, away from the Space Marines while they deal with the Titan all by themselves, which the amount of dice they're putting out, I think they'll be able to. The Titans just sort of fire into the Tyranids from afar. They don't do much damage. Harvey makes some pretty good rolls during the course of this game in terms of saves. He didn't roll out of the box. I'm not saying he went wild, but he made some pretty solid saves. Harvey gets to move, and he goes for the old Trapperoo. So basically what you see here is both Tyranid formations stretched out towards the top of the board have march moves. They get triple moves, which is like 15 centimeters times 3, so 45 centimeters. And he sort of splayed them in an arc from board edge to board edge so that the Space Marines and Land Raiders can't escape. The Titans themselves, the Warhounds and the Reaver, they can walk through this if they need to. But Harvey's also squared the Dominatrix off against one of the Scout Titans, knowing full well that if the Dominatrix gets its hands on that Scout Titan, it's going to be bad, bad news. Game turn 2, and Harvey wins initiative. This was emotionally crushing to Z-Cost 83. I gotta tell you the truth. He kind of emotionally went in the toilet. The whole time we're all telling him you can still do shit, but this is Harvey swarming those Titans. He swarms the Reaver with everything he's got on the ground, Gene Stealers all over its feet. The Dominatrix slams headfirst into that middle Scout Titan. You can see the other Scout Titan just in the background there with his own attendants at his feet, including some Tyranid warriors. It's going to be ugly. Titan's relatively tough, but there are a lot of attacks going in, and in Epic, Gene Stealers get first strike, and the Void Shields, we're not playing the Void Shields as usable in close combat. They'll stop firefight attacks, they'll stop shooting attacks, obviously, from a distance, but we're playing as though they don't count for close combat, so good luck, boys. After the assault, yeah, impressive. None of the Titans actually go down. Warhounds have 3 wounds in Epic. Reavers have 6. I mean, you can see red dice sort of distributed all around the photo here. There's 2 wounds on each of the Warhounds, 4 on the damn Reaver, 1 on the Dominatrix, and there's a small amount of Tyranid infantry missing. You know, Gene Stealers, Raveners, where they got stepped on. Space Marines and Land Raiders did not throw in on this firefight, on this assault, to assist because Zikos was pretty sure he was going to lose this fight. And he didn't want blast markers on him to affect their movement since this was a brand new turn. The Titans do lose, take a couple wounds, but all in all, they're going to slug it out. Zikos gets to go, and he sends his jump packers in at the Hierodule type. Great shot of this here, just Assault Marines all over its legs. Again, this dice you see is a bio shield around the Hierodule. This will not have any effect on close combat with their chain swords and crack grenades or whatever the hell they're using. Thermite grenades, melt-a-bombs. But the assault did not go well for the Marines. Zikos rolled like crap. Harvey was on point, not that he needed to be. And once again, Zikos did not throw in the Space Marines and the Land Raiders because he was afraid he'd lose it. I think he was just trying to put wounds on this thing. I'm not sure he was really trying to win. And I don't blame him if he wasn't really trying to win the assault. I mean, he put those jump packers there as a screen for a reason, right? But you can see the Hierodule now just staring down those Marines. Nice shot there of the Hierodule. So you can excuse that blurry shot from earlier, certainly. There's some of this Salt Marines gone. There's a shot of the Hierodule staring down the Marines. Titans, after backing out of the assault that they lost with a bunch of blast markers on them, they just lay into the Tyranid horde. They're trying primarily to get rid of the infantry. I'm not sure Zikos is terrified of the Dominatrix, though he should be. I'm not sure he is. It's a synapse creature, by the way. I know I didn't mention that. I'm not sure the Dominatrix exists in 40k, people, and sorry about that. I truly am. Shooting at the Hierodule, and it accrues 4 wounds, which is just brutal. Harvey's got to hang on here. I think it's got 6 wounds. But no luck. The amount of firepower that this unit, Zikos, has, all these TAC Marines, Devastator Marines. It looks like 6 TAC, 6 Devastator Marines, plus the Land. The amount of firepower there just shredded the poor Hierodule. It was fantastic to watch, too, because Harvey had to make just an ungodly number of saves, and despite his hot dice, it wasn't happening. Also, while the Titans were laying waste, the Dominatrix went down. And this is bad now, because now the Tyranids have no Titans. They got none. So they're living in a world where war engines rule the day, because that's pretty much how Epic is. If you're playing with war engines like the Shadow Sword, Bane Blade, Orc Battle Fortress, or Titan, you gotta have one to oppose it. One more assault from Harvey, from the Dominatrix's infantry, Tyranid infantry accompaniment, actually brings down a Warhound Titan. And lucky shooting brings down the other one. So now Zikos is down to the Reaver and his Mega unit. But Harvey's down to a motley collection infantry and a single Execrate. Game turn 3, Harvey swarms. And this is what it looks like. And by the way, that little Exocrine that lived, he never killed anything. He must have shot these Land Raiders twice. And there's even a +1 for shooting for sustained fire. And it just wasn't happening. So Harvey moves in to surround the Marines like this. But Zikos is just going to sustain fire. As the Marines are gearing up to sustain fire and shred the Tyranids, over their shoulder, the Reaver Titan goes supernova because its reactor was leaking from all the damage it had already taken. So all the Titans are down. But it doesn't matter because when the Marines open up in this sort of 360 firing arc, some of the Land Raiders turning backwards, they just shred what's left of the Tyranids. You can see like there's a warrior stand off to the left, and there's a Hormagon stand staring down those Devastators. It was brutal. At that point, Harvey knew what it was, and there they are all lined up. You know, Exocrine, by the way, at the top of that picture, yeah, still alive. That guy's still alive. Killed nothing, done nothing. Harvey throws in what's left. The Tyranid warrior goes in there, and the Exocrine shuffles off, knowing full well that there's no punishment for being a loser in the Tyranid army. This has been theBLOB with an epic battle report. I'll try to post links to the material for the game below in the whatchamacallit, YouTube posts. Never actually tried to do that, but I think I can point you to like net epic resources or anything like that if you've been watching this video and you're like, what the fuck am I looking at here? Like, this looks like 40K, but Jesus, is it small. Yeah, this is this is impressive. So if you don't know what it is, I'll try to post links below. But thanks to Zcos for playing and Harvey from out of town, who probably in all rights is somewhere right now with his Tau trying to find a way to win. And thanks for listening.